Hey everybody, Mac here for OCR Kings, and it's that time again. Tom is checking in with another fabulous sit rep, this time for the West Virginia Trifecta weekend held on August 24th and 25th, 2024. Tom, you are a machine. Hats off to you. I heard we're up to 10x trifectas for this year. You are incredible. Thank you so much for this sit rep. We will provide an unabridged version in the description below. Link to that to our blog. And if you haven't done so already, check out Tom on Instagram. Connect with him. He is awesome. Also, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps to grow the channel and keeps these conversations going. But without further ado, let's see what Tom has to say. So Tom has participated in the West Virginia Trifecta weekend for 9 years in a row. Holy cow, Tom. Though he tries to make these race reviews objective, it will be hard to do with this one. Oh boy, hold on to your hats, everybody. West Virginia is one of the best venues and race weekends on the Spartan calendar, and in Tom's opinion, a race every Spartan should run at least once. Yes, totally agree. That's why Damer and I are going to tackle this in 2025. More on that later. But as Tom says, this is not a sales pitch. Okay. There are unique aspects to this venue that you should know going in, both good and bad. So grab your EpiPen, your geology textbook, and a cup of coffee. It's sit rep time. As far as travel, Tom writes that southern West Virginia is centrally located to many on the East Coast. That is true. It's a reasonable drive from southern U.S., Ohio, Tennessee, and parts of the Northeast. Very good. Beckley, West Virginia is right off of Interstate Highway 77, a major north to south route that connects Cleveland to Atlanta. So it's interstate driving. Okay. Very good. That's what we'll be doing, driving down there. The local airport, Charleston, is a small airport that connects a major Delta hub. Okay, Charleston is a small regional airport with easy car rental pickup, great and hassle-free TSA, which the folks there are familiar with the yearly Spartan drill. Cool. There are two hotel choices for hotels in the area, either Oak Hill or Beckley. He's stayed in both over the years, which are equally 20 minutes from the venue. Great. But for the last few years, Tom has stayed in Beckley, which has more choices for hotel, gas, food stores, and getting your logistics all together. Very good. He highly recommends booking early, as next year's race has already been announced. That is true. Check the Spartan website for more details. As far as the region goes, I love these, Tom. I got to tell you, the geology in this region was solidified 65 million years ago when continental glaciers during the Pleistocene era rerouted and cut the new river off from a larger river, localizing it into its current 360-mile route through North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. Amazing. You got to check out the links that Tom provides in the sit rep. His footnotes are on point. Lots of information to, for further reading. Just so good. This makes the New River one of the 5 oldest rivers in the world. The Appalachians, which were initially formed 1.1 billion years ago, I had no idea, but glaciers subsequently created the Appalachians that we know today. Oh, okay, so they're relatively young at 480 million years ago. Incredible. So due to a shift away from coal mining today, this region is experiencing an economic downturn, which is sad, and is looking to reposition itself as an outdoor tourist destination. Cool. Definitely check out West Virginia. A lot of goodies down there for outdoor adventure. Really, really cool. This race weekend is sponsored by West Virginia Tourism Board. Very cool. They got something like that going on in Jacksonville, Florida. You know that venue is fantastic as well. And big news came out of Spartan regarding this venue in West Virginia that is covered in this breaking news section later below. Excellent. As far as parking goes, Tom writes that parking at this venue is legendary and will remind old-timers of Wintergreen or maybe New Jersey Trifecta weekend on a bad day. Yikes, I am getting scared now, all right? If you get there early, you can get a spot in a series of huge fields about a half-mile away from registration. If you get there at 8 o'clock or later, the walk to registration can be up to a mile. Interesting. Charge up your Garmins and track your steps. You might get some extra if you get there a little bit later. Not great. I could imagine if it's raining and muddy, that could be really a disaster. But let's see what Tom continues on saying. The walk itself is a great warm up. It winds up a hill, and then there's a steep drop into a large field if you want to cut a corner off your hike. Cool. Parking can be overcome, however. Tom got to the venue at 5:30 a.m. and was standing at registration at 6 a.m. Wow. It should also be noted that traffic is bad in and out of the venue. This is primarily due to the small country road, couldn't resist, that links up with a single lane dirt road in and out. Wow. All right, this road kicks up dust and makes it tough to see. So safe driving over there. Wow. Combine the dust and traffic, and Saturday turned into a 15-minute hotel drive, okay, which would be the normal route, into an hour-long trek. Wow. So continuing on about the venue, Tom writes that the West Virginia Trifecta weekend has been held at the same venue since its inaugural race in 2017. The venue is the Summit at Bechtel Reserve. I hope I'm saying that correctly. A 15,000-acre piece of property that doubles as the Boy Scouts of America headquarters for their yearly jamboree. Neat. Didn't know that. The site can host up to 40,000 campers at one time, has a large outdoor arena with a capacity for 80,000, wow, and has biking, BMS, archery, rifle and shotgun shooting, zip lines, climbing, and reeling sites. Cool, there's a lot to do here. The entire site has permanent restrooms and large open areas for camping that makes positioning obstacles easier than other venues. Great. Most people probably focused on the positioning of the obstacles. I zoned right in on the restroom part. That is fantastic. If there are permanent flush toilets there, that is excellent because that is one of the things that I look for as a bonus to these races rather than the old shit box there, which can get kind of gross, especially in the heat. As far as wildlife, just before you dozed off, Tom writes, he mentioned endemic wildlife in the region. Well, they're still there. Very good. Within the first mile of the race and then around mile 5, Tom ran into a section of the woods with hornets' nests and yellow jackets. Yes, there are different. He's got a link to that information in this sit rep below. Many racers either got stung or bitten. Tom got 3 stings, and it was a bigger issue for some. So if you're allergic, yes, you better pack that EpiPen. That's no joke. At each water station, there was a hornet and bee spray option. That's very cool. Both hornets and yellow jackets are similar, but after some research, we think that they were yellow jackets mainly. Hornets swarm to protect their hive and can be very dangerous, but Tom never felt like he was under major aerial attack, even though he got stung 3 times. Yikes. He got a couple of stings, and that was it. All right, Tom's a trooper. Tom also writes, keep in mind that hornets and bees are descendants of wasps, which first appeared in the fossil records dating back to 120 million years ago. Amazing. In their defense, these animals have been evolving in this area for millions of years, much longer than humans. Okay, so they got dibs. I get it, Tom. Tom continues that another pretty cool moment coming down a downhill section at about mile 6, he just missed stepping on a black snake. Oh boy. The basic rule of thumb is unless there is a yellow, black, or white, yellow coloration to the snake, it is not venomous. I thought it was if it had a whiter triangular head, it accommodated fangs and venomous pockets or sacs in its mouth, but I guess I'm wrong. I don't know. Black snakes are neither poisonous nor aggressive. They keep rodent populations down and are a sign of a thriving ecosystem. All right, so don't step on black snakes. They're good for the environment. Cool. So, as usual, the course had a sprint, super, beast, 10K trail, and 21K trail. This has been the pattern in recent years. And previously, this weekend was part of the National Championship Series, but that is being held in Seattle this year in 2024. Still, this race was well attended with over 9,000 racers, spectators, and kid race participants. That's excellent. Great numbers. Some of the unique aspects of the course, the race uses the gorge there in a variety of ways, with climbs like the New Jersey Beast at Vernon, my favorite, or at least familiar territory there. There are at least 2 bushwhacking climbs to the summit. You're going in the woods there. Okay, got it. major treeless hill inclines. His GPS read 4,400 feet of elevation gain, and the course clocked in at exactly 13.1 miles. Unheard of. Tom, I think your watch was broken because that does not jibe with Spartan miles. If you're not familiar with Spartan miles, um, I guess Spartan traditionally has had a difficult time measuring distances correctly. But again, you'll know at the finish line, right? The back end of the course has some significant rolling inclines that were not steep, but you felt it at the end of a long race. I get that. Okay. At mile 5, after 2 major climbs, the course opened the summit and we ran across a suspension bridge over a portion of the gorge. Cool. All right, that sounds pretty cool. If you're afraid of heights, don't look down. That's good advice, Tom. Thank you for that. But the course was different this year. All right, they didn't run back over the bridge after Atlas Carry. They ran down into the gorge and back up into the open area at the summit. Interesting. If you ran this venue before, you did not do the log carry through the pond this year. After a few miles of switchbacks, the racers finally got down to the portion of the course that was most memorable, the lake swim. Cool. Other than Tahoe, Tom can't remember another lake swim, and this year in West Virginia, it was awesome. Tom writes that it was twice as long as in recent memory, and his GPS watch said it was about a quarter mile. They made you wear a life vest and had lifeguards on duty. That is, yeah, they're taking it pretty serious. Yeah, they have the same thing kind of at Killington. Better safe than sorry, and I'm glad they stepped it up there. So for most of us at the race, Tom writes, this section took 20 to 30 minutes, and I have no idea how the elites could swim with those life vests. Interesting. We'll have to ask the 4 or 5 guys who fall into that category. Of the obstacles, Tom writes, this year's obstacles were harder, though not much different. Okay, more of the same. The critical eyes of OCR Kings subscribers and the editorial division of OCR Kings will be disappointed to know that a lot of the obstacles were generally backloaded. However, they did set up obstacles on several of the summit climbs and in the open areas between climbs where the woods opened up. So Tom thinks critics will be happy with the distribution of obstacles with the understanding they were festival loaded toward the bottom, toward the end. The overhead obstacles were standard, including multi-rig bender rings, etc. Multi-rig and rope climb was at the end. Bucket carry was in the last mile on the side of the mountain, just like the previous year, right before Herc Hoist. Great catch by OCR Kings subscriber David Best. Shout to you, my friend. The route of the bucket carry was the Tough Mudder logo. Interesting. No more Spartan helmet. Tough Mudder instead. Very interesting. This year there were 2 sandbag carries. The first one was like recent years, right after the suspension bridge. The second was a challenge. It was right after the lake swim and on the second yellow jacket attack. Okay. So you had the bees to contend with after being soaking wet coming out of the water. It makes it for a very memorable carry. Very cool. A lot of racers, including Tom, were tight after the cold swim and another aerial insect attack. So they grabbed a pancake, okay, it was one of the branded Spartan pancake bags, and headed up a short hill over the guardrail, across a road, and down a steep hill in an open field, and then came right back. Putting together the lake swim, swampy connecting section in the second sandbag carry, it slowed things down considerably. Okay, toward the end, it was a sloppy half-mile run to the final gauntlet of spear throws, rope climb, multi-rig. All of these were in the festival area, right at the end, right at the bottom, okay? The fire step over, as Tom writes, ended things for the day. The fire non-jump. That's what I do. I step right over those logs. In Tom's opinion, this was one of the best obstacle course layouts for this season. Excellent. Sure, they used the same basic obstacle. The lake swim, second sandbag carry, and final sections were great. Tom always tries to thank the race director. Turns out he is the brother of another Spartan employee Tom always talks to at the venues. Tom thinks he did a great job. The festival area, as Tom previously mentioned, there were over 9,000 racers, including spectators and kids participants, so it was pretty active. The Beast had 2,200 participants. It's very, very good. There was a Spartan Plus tent, but no athlete services. Rocco was at DecaFit. And the festival area seemed pretty sparse to Tom. There were a few food trucks, but mostly he hung out at the Spartan Plus tent, debriefing with friends and talking with some OCR Kings subscribers, including David Best. He thinks a real reason for the light festival area is most spectators were congregated around the final gauntlet of obstacles, cheering on their friends and family. Makes sense. Very cool, but probably not a good idea. The festival area and the final gauntlet should be more connected, so vendors get the most out of their investment. Good point. It's just good for business. Spot on, Tom. Of the finish line, Tom writes there was a fantastic addition to the finish line at this race. The finish line announcer was monitoring the chip on his computer and could tell which specific racers were finishing. As a result, during the last obstacle, he called out racers' names, congratulating them and highlighting them personally. That's very cool. Tom has seen this at trail and road races, as have I, New York road runners. If you're running around the city or you're the New York City Marathon, you're going to get stuff just like that. So good on you, Spartan, to sort of incorporate that. Keep doing that. So in summary, Tom writes that West Virginia is a classic Spartan race setup. It's a tough race, but accessible to all fitness levels. The venue is a departure from the farms, ranches, ski resorts, and ATV parks that have dominated the schedule over the past few years. Bechtel Reserve is a rugged, wild nature preserve that brings wildlife, tough terrain, and unique opportunities for changing up the obstacles. Tom thinks it should be on every Spartan racer's schedule, and I agree. And of breaking news, on Monday, Spartan announced that the 2025 end of the season will not be held in Sparta, Greece. Instead, it will be held in West Virginia in the first week of November. So, if you shied away from Greece due to the cost, West Virginia is a far cheaper and more accessible option. Excellent. And it just makes sense. Some of these flyaway destination races that they've had, these world championships or whatever it is, it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry to go outside the United States. That's just a dumb idea. It's just dumb. People aren't going into the desert in Dubai and all this. That's stupid. So, hey, great news. It's going to be in West Virginia. It's a great place to go. Good on you, Spartan. Using your heads. Excellent. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll provide links to all of these things in the description below, the unabridged sit rep, Tom's Instagram. And if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps to grow the channel and keeps these conversations going. We hope to see you out on the course, perhaps at the World Championship in November, West Virginia. But until that time, remember, as always, train hard, have fun.